Ah, there's the 60s artillery. Oh, we weren't paused. My bad. So we want to get this one, and then we need to hold off on that one, and then we can go for the commandos. And at some point we're also going to need to do the industrial upgrades. Though we haven't needed to just yet. Oh, we are going to need to start working on some more civilian factory. Actually, no, we can just start building civies in Oxfordshire. There we are. And if we did ever have to rearm, just how many factories do we have for that? We have 15 military factories. Yeah, that's fine. Probably. Oh, and we need to re-enable civilian spending. Boop. 32 million deficit. We're going to be in a surplus even at maximum spending. This is going to be great. Can you all inform me what you've missed so far? Today, just a bunch of votes on the future shape of England. As in polls, not votes. Alright, sway the right is done, so let's convince the swing voters. There are many voters stuck between us and the Socialist Labour Party. The Whigs have the ability to sway some of those swing votes to our side by promising the same SLP policies these voters are enamoured with. Through this, the Whigs will benefit us by bringing more voters to the cause and depriving the SLP. And I am hoping that this is having some effect on this. Though right now, we are definitely outnumbered. Yes, the MSA, they are the game changers. They could be the kingmakers here. There are some really loud crows outside my window right now. Shut up. Sterling is the kingmaker? What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, exactly. I'm sure it'll be fine. Alright, so now what are we going to do with Powell? At the end of the day, it all comes down to a single man, Enoch Powell. We must decide how much media attention we can allow him to have. While giving him more time on air will definitely allow us to reach out to more voters, especially amongst the far right. It is equally possible that this could cause the population to become more conservative and right-wing. We have 100% stability. We are completely stable at this point. The government, less so. I do wonder if I should invest a little bit in this. Let's drop in another 50 and a 50. As long as I keep above about 400 political power, I feel okay. We must be mad, literally mad, as a nation to be permitting the annual inflow of thousands of dependents who are for the most part the material of the future growth of the immigrant-descended population. In these circumstances, nothing will suffice but the total inflow for settlement to be reduced, at once to negligible proportions. Frickin' hell, thought Jellicoe as he turned off the television. Enoch Powell was becoming a massive problem. His statement in the press kept causing headaches in the party. The SLP had gone from mildly displeased to furious when the man spoke on immigration, for it could no longer be considered a misstep, and was now clearly a window into a dark and hateful mind. The NDL could not simply not comment and turn away from Powell as it had done for so long. Or it could undercut him, sideline the Patriots, weaken them, help the Liberals out. That had its own problems with party unity, but surely something had to be done. So just close our eyes and hope it doesn't hurt, or Fentandle Political 13B. This is going to be an interesting one to write out. Close eyes or sideline. Those are your choices. Get your votes in. Vote, vote, vote. Get your votes in. Are we going to close our eyes and hope this doesn't hurt? And it probably will hurt. Or do we sideline him? Because now he's just being out and out. Yeah. Yeah. So vote, vote, vote. He's going to be a figurehead, alright, on a ship sailing away from England. Vote, vote, vote. Got another 20, no, probably 10 seconds. So get your votes in quickly, because it is about to end. Okay, so 18% said that we should close our eyes and just hope it doesn't hurt, whereas 82% of you saying sideline him. And Charlotte Holland contributed 1,000 points for that as well, so thank you for that, Charlotte. We are going to go and sideline him. Strength of the weaks decreases. We all have dirty secrets. Recently, some information has been brought to our attention regarding a particular topic. It concerns Sinjin Stivas in regards to his unconventional tastes. It would seem his dedication to the decriminalization of homosexuality is due in no small part to his preferences. This information could be extremely damaging to both him and the League were it to become public knowledge, especially in the socially conservative climate of the country. We must meet with him at once in order to clear up this issue. And then after this we can start on actually uniting the party. This is just dealing with the extremes. How's the construction coming along? We've now got 2 sets of 20 now building and rising rapidly. We are really snowballing. Are we? Yes! We have a surplus. We have a surplus even at maximum spending, except for the military. We have turned that off. Interesting. Okay. So on a completely peacetime economy right now, we are producing a surplus. So if we wanted to do some social reforms, we could probably afford it at this point. That's very good. I like that. Saifuddin abdicates. Tunku Abdul Rahman becomes the Prime Minister. To the dismay of many who saw the Sultan as a reformer of the Federation, the Sultan has abdicated from the federal monarchy, citing a desire to remain closer to the subjects of his birthright. While the Majlis convenes, the Dewan Nagara has also appointed a new Prime Minister of Sionan, Tunku Abdul Rahman Putra al-Hajj. Many expect him to be another out-of-touch aristocratic leader of the Federation. His track record at the federal parliament has brought many to shame, and has effectively used his weight as an aristocrats push for reform and progressive legislation throughout the Federation. As always, only time will tell if the Tunku is an effective carrier of the Sultan's will. His first test is already laid out in front of him, with the ticking time bomb of public discontent in Sionan. An aristocrat and a gentleman. Nagasaki Accord signed, bringing peace to Vietnam. After years of abortive uphill negotiations between the Communist Party of Vietnam and the Empire of Vietnam, the two parties finally came to an agreement regarding a peace in the region. The Nagasaki Accord is being hailed by its signatories as a symbol of a new age for Vietnam and establishes a path for future of the country in the co-prosperity sphere. In the settlement, it's been agreed that the Emperor Bo Dai is to abdicate following public elections, and the status of Vietnam as a Japanese partner is to be elevated in the near future. Excuse me. Thousands have gathered in Vietnam's major cities to celebrate the end of the political conflict across the nation, but various members of the imperial court, as well as the Prime Minister Ngo Dien Diem, have vanished from the public sphere following the harsh disapproval of the accords. What remains, however, is a tense peace between the Vietnamese government and the Viet Minh, now forced to share the young and fragile republic. Fresh air at last. Foreign Secretary St. John Stevens looked up from his desk as the Prime Minister hurriedly walked in and shut the door behind him. "What's the problem, George?" he asked. Jellicoe looked at him and said, "There's a problem, Foreign Minister. My friends have heard rumours that threaten to upend your position, that you might be, homosexual." Jellicoe's eyes grew wide. Stevens chuckled and said, "Well, I always wondered how long it would take your lads to find out, and I assure you, Prime Minister, what you heard is correct." Jellicoe was aghast. "Norman, what the absolute frick are you doing? Jesus Christ! The electoral consequences of the... Why are you so calm about this? George, loads of politicians have things they'd rather keep under wraps, things everyone knows but nobody says. If everyone spoke up about little infractions, it'd bring down the bloody government. If, for example, somebody knows I like other men and they're boozing it up with cool girls, we can both live and let live, can't we?" Jellicoe's blood went cold, and Stevens knew he'd proved his point. "Let's not let this become an issue, Prime Minister." Strength of the Democrats decreases. Oof. Alright, uniting the party. "A house divided against itself cannot stand," an American saying, but it still holds true. We cannot hope to bring England forwards into the world if we are occupied with the infighting and factionalism. We must rally both the left and the right-wing elements of our party and the country as a whole if we are to succeed. It shall not be easy, but it must be done for the good of England. Alright, scout helicopter. And in fact, that is the most modern helicopter we can get, isn't it? Yes, it is. So let's start you on the Special Forces. And then maybe we'll also do air assault. Hold on. Yeah, we should definitely do air assault. I didn't realise that that was a separate branch. Okay, interesting. Sounds good. Make it happen. Especially because the artillery is about to finish. Correction, has finished. Alright, let's go air assault. And this makes a special sense considering our land doctrine, which is air support. We did not go naval, which would have been pro-marines. So we're going with the Heffalopters instead. Okay, cool. And we have over 500 again, so I think I'm going to do another set of political concessions and competent officers. Slowly but surely bringing this back into line. Military austerity, we're going to turn you down, and we have Liquid. We have some liquid reserves. We can pay off the debt. Yes! Success! Uniting the party. And then a common enemy. If Hitler's meteoric and unprecedented rise to power has taught us anything, it is that a common foe is best to make enemies into allies. With Hitler it was the Jewish peoples. With us it shall be a group that actually poses a threat to society. The Socialist Labour Party. By fabricating some stories and rumours roughly based upon real events, we can twist perception of them to suit our purposes, and hopefully unite the League. So, socialist support in Yorkshire and Gloucestershire goes up, but in the East Midlands and Plymouth it goes down. Interesting. Government stability's gone up. Emperor Bao Dai abdicates. The Communist Party swept into power. The results were worse than we could have imagined. There was little we could have done to sway the Vietnamese people to maintain as emperor. But as the fireworks shot up through the streets of Hanoi, Saigon and Haiphong, there was no reason to continue listening to the results on the radio. 79% in favour of the Communist Party, and as such his own abdication. Nearly 4 of every 5 Vietnamese men, sure, the soldiers were as afraid of Ho Chi Minh's new government as he was, and most of the politicians wanted to hold on to their rank. Prime Minister Dien vanished into the night, the coward likely running with as much gold, generals and the higher-ups. Those who were left stayed inside the royal complex, listening to Ho Chi Minh's speech from every television inside, as did every Vietnamese who was lucky enough to have one. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. And we have 3 civilian factories again. So now I think it's probably time to build up Sussex. Or maybe Newcastle. Oh, Newcastle actually has aluminium. Yeah, let's build up Newcastle. It's kind of weird that this is called Newcastle. Newcastle's a city. This would be Northumberland. Or Cumbria. Like everything else is like Yorkshire, Lancashire, and then Newcastle. Huh? Now, one other thing I did want to double check was infrastructure. Because this comes with some more. Wiltshire and Cornwall. Right, that's fine. Romania sides with Italy. The many investments the Italians have pumped into Romania are finally borne fruit. The Romanian government has signed an official economic treaty with Italy today. In exchange for fuel, the Italian government will continue to pump money and technology into the developing nation. The Germans, for their part, have been silent. It is a well-known secret that they have been extensively aiding the right-wing terror groups, notably the Iron Guard. This failure hasn't curbed their enthusiasm, however. Both sides plot their next move. Italian money won the day. Does Vietnam have any content? No, I don't think so. No. Right. So let's unite the party. We have now united the League. Whether this unity shall last is a question for another time, for at this very moment the whole League is working towards a common goal. To finalise this unity we shall invite the 4 most important individuals in the League, Auchinleck, Stavas, Sterling and Powell, to a dinner at number 10 Downing Street. This could only end well. Have you not been listening, Jellicoe? How is this going to end well? Well, Jellicoe is definitely the ultimate optimist. Continue civilian spending. Continue paying off debt. We're now at almost 200 million surplus. This is how I expected my economy to grow as Kemerovo, and it never did. This is how I expected my economy to grow as the Iberian Union, and it never did. But then I don't think I ever had quite so many civilian factories under construction. The Dutch are free again. No, they're not. They got conquered by Germany. Again. I couldn't even believe it, exclaimed Powell. I look at my file and there's only 3 or 4 pages on me, and at the end the knob who wrote it put unimportant. Just unimportant. Can you believe that? Stavus laughed as he took a bite of his meat pie. I haven't looked at my file, but somebody told me it wasn't much either. It's absurd, declared Powell. I went to Africa, India and England in military intelligence back in the World War, and I never saw combat. I signed up for the rebellion, take part in the Civil War, and never see combat either. And now I hear that even if we lost, the bloody collabs wouldn't have even shot me. And from what I hear, Wingate was awfully tempted to just do that back in India, remarked Auchinleck, prompting Sterling to snort. Everybody at the dinner party was happy, and so was Jellicoe. It seemed like his work had all paid off. The NDL was united. Everyone was just getting along just fine. Really? Just like that? I don't believe that for a second. Right, well, I feel like we should probably give a speech in Parliament celebrating how awesome we are, and then embark on the National Education Act. England has thousands of small private schools of vastly different qualities of education from the standards set by the public schools. This disparity, along with a substandard public school curriculum, has led to many young Englishmen and women to be undereducated. By nationalising many sectors of the education system and by setting down a much more thoroughly mandatory curriculum, we can vastly improve the quality of the English schooling. Oh, we could also remember the Civil War. We could also send Stavus to America. Medium increase in the output of domestic jobs. With all the votes coming up, you know what? No, let's wait on this. My beautiful surplus, it just keeps on growing and growing. It's awesome. Curious, how is everybody's economy looking at this point? Next. Economy, here we are. So the biggest in the world is the USA with 496 billion. We're down here, 41. Siberian Free is actually bigger than we are. Heck, even Singapore is bigger than we are. However, the big question, national debt. Japan is first, it's not Germany. Germany's economy is actually kind of under control. It's stagnant, it's completely stagnant, but it is under control. And my debt is roughly equal to what everyone else's in my size category is. Manchukuo Menjiang. Hello, friend. Can you please check on Manchukuo? I can. Manchukuo is still alive. I don't think they have... Yeah, they don't have a focus tree in this. I think Menjiang does either. China does. And as you can see, China's having a few problems with the National Protection Army. Currently fighting ultra-nationalist under Long Yun. The Republic of China seems to be struggling a bit. National Education Act is done. So let's reorganize the counties. Oh, Sussex. Hang on, did we build Sussex up? No. We can stick one infrastructure in Sussex. In order to secure their power, the German collaborationist government interfered with and redrew the borders of many England's counties. This has left many of them with a messy, broken-down state with an extraordinary amount of bribery and corruption. If England is to be brought back onto its feet, the old English county borders must be brought back and tweaked slightly, and the counties themselves should be completely reorganised, with new governments. This county reorganisation project should greatly reduce the bureaucratic slog of local government, as well as reduce the massive amounts of corrupt officials. Okay, so this vote, we currently have 203. There are 28 votes remaining for the moderates. There are 22 with the Liberals and 21 with the Conservatives. This is the Education Act. This is nationalising education, which feels like something we could get the SOP on our side for. And they have over 100 potential people joining us. Although that does increase their popularity. Not sure we want to necessarily do that. So I guess we'll put a 50 on the moderates. Ugh, that only got me like 7. I think we're going to do one drop on the SLP. And there we go, now it'll pass. That is going to make the election harder. And I also want to drop another 100 on rebuilding the army. Now, government stability is now a heck of a lot better. Oh, no, it's not. It's gone down. We're at 36%.